you already all were very familiar with Zoom. And before we continue today's presentation, it is really important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. Royal Roads University acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Esquimalt and the Songhees ancestors and families who have lived here for thousands of years. This land has been a part of the fabric of the life of Indigenous communities long before Hatley Castle was built, and it will be long into the future. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. So today's session is the Doctor of Business Administration, and we have Dr. Hassan Wafai, who is the program head, Andrea Torres-Lopez, who is the recruitment manager, and my name is Imara Angus, and I am an education advisor. The three of us today will be leading today's session, and we also have Tracy and Kelsey monitoring the chat, and they'll be doing their best to answer your questions as well. So today's agenda, get to know one another, and I know we're doing that right now, so welcome again. And we'll also be doing a brief overview of the Royal Roads University experience, program-specific information, the application process and requirements, and questions throughout. So when questions come up, pop them in the chat. We'll either answer them throughout or we'll have time at the end to go over any questions. So at Royal Roads, as you have already probably realized, first names first. Knowing everybody's first name is very important to us, and we do our best to get to know you very quickly because we understand that this is your personal journey and you are special to us here at Royal Roads, and we want to make sure that we're here to support you however we can. And we believe in the learn together forever. So we have cohort models, and we understand that learning doesn't begin and end in the classroom. It starts before you get to the classroom and continues way beyond that. We believe in lifelong learning, and that life is also an education. And you'll find that with our flexible admission process that we take life experience as well as a credential. And the idea of our real world classroom, where learning doesn't start and stop when you enter the classroom, and your experience and everybody's career journey bringing you to where you are here today is very important. And we are also a Changemaker campus, an Ashoka Changemaker campus, and Royal Roads University, we're recognized for a leader for change and social innovation. And it's a global network of more than 40 universities, colleges committing to advancing social innovation and change making. And here are a few pictures of campus. So on the top left there, Royal Roads University is located in Victoria, British Columbia. The top left there, you'll notice, is Hatley Castle. Yes, we have a castle on our campus. And you might even recognize Hatley Castle from movies such as X-Men or Deadpool. Give me a thumbs up if you recognize Hatley Castle from any of your favorite movies. Oh, okay, I see one thumbs up. Oh, 5, 6, oh, a lot. Okay, great. I'm glad that everybody recognizes Hatley Castle. I have a feeling everybody's gonna be watching the movies later today. Awesome, and then on the right-hand side is Esquimalt Lagoon, and it's right in front of the ocean. You can see Esquimalt Lagoon from our campus. It's a beautiful, beautiful area for a walk. And then the bottom left corner is Charlie's Trail. That's one of my personal favorite places to go for a lunchtime walk. It's beautiful, it has a little waterfall, and it's right on campus, but you can immerse yourself in nature. And then on the bottom right, online learning. So we're actually celebrating 25 years of online learning this year, which we're very excited about as an institution. Wonderful. So I'm so happy to welcome Dr. Hassan Wafai, and he will be taking over this part of today's session. Welcome.
Thank you, Imara. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, first, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure being here talking about the program. What we prepared 10 slides, almost, my part at least, to explain, to go through the program. Feel free to ask any question as we go through the program. We will not go into too much details overall, but again, feel free to ask any question. My name is Hassan Wafai. I am the program head. I'm also associate professor in the School of Business. I teach operations, supply chain, innovation management. Next slide. Yes. So what is a Doctor of Business Administration? Actually, what is the Doctor of Business Administration at Royal Road University? Royal Road DBA, which is Doctor of Business Administration, we call it DBA, is unique to British Columbia and Canada. Why is it unique? I'm going to talk a little bit about its uniqueness and how is it different from a conventional PhD in general. Of course, in general, first, it's a research-based doctoral program oriented to applied business and management research. Now here, there are two important phrases I wanted to emphasize. One, research-based doctoral program. That component, it's common in conventional PhD program. But what's not common, its orientation and focus on applied business management research. That is the focus of the degree. It's a blended design. The blended design, we're going to talk a little bit more about blended design. A blended design, it is a mix between on-campus residencies, we call it residency, short period, where you will come to Victoria, beautiful Victoria. You saw some pictures. You spend some very, I would say a few weeks. We will talk about that. And the rest of the program, it's online. So this is a blended design. A Royal Road University, it's one of the, I would say, if not the first public university which introduced the blended design, model. It's a hybrid, and that is it integrates the applied and the professional orientation of professional doctorate and research rigor of a PhD. And that is one of the most important features of the program, the hybrid nature of the program. The hybrid, I mean that has two components, applied focus and research-based program. Next slide, Emma. There you go. So program at a glance, it's a 60 credit program, similar to all doctoral programs in Canada and around the world, 60 credits. Out of the 60 credit, there are 6 courses. That's 18 credit coursework, and the rest is research-based credit. It's a hybrid design, and now you know what's hybrid design. Hybrid design that has two components, research intensive and applied focus. It focuses on knowledge of production. What do I mean by knowledge production? That's mean by the end of your program, you will be able to produce knowledge, actionable and relevant knowledge. So that means you contribute to human knowledge by your dissertation. Your dissertation must make a contribution, a valid contribution to human knowledge. Program length, it's 4 to 7 years. I saw some question, could be 3 years. Well, I mean, I will say the minimum that you will attend the third residency, and you will see. So it could be 3.5. Could be. There is no actually a specific line to say, well, it's a 4 year. It could be a little bit less, but we normally recommend that students take the time to develop research and write up the final dissertation. Delivery, it's a blended cohort. It's a cohort-based online learning with a 3 intensive residency, and you will see the structure in the next slide. It's a cohort phase. Well, this is a very important piece, cohort phase. For those who are familiar with doctoral study, they may have understanding about doctoral journey as a solo journey. It's a very individualized journey. You spend time by yourself with your books, with your papers, with your committee. Here at Royal Road, because cohort-based learning is a very important concept we apply throughout our program, we try to build cohort. And by cohort, we refer to, or we mean, a community of researchers. So you are not by yourself. You are part of a group of researchers working together. Everyone has his own or her own research focus, but together you are a kind of a community of researchers supporting each other. And I always refer to this network as a safety network. So it's a safety network that supports you throughout your program. The program, as you can see, could take 7 years, but on average 4 years, 4 or 5 years. It's a long journey, and the value of this network is really tremendous. It's a competency-based approach, and we're going to talk a little bit about the competency framework that we have in the program. That's mean by the end of the program, there are specific elements that you need to learn or you need to acquire, competency that you need to learn and acquire by the end of the program. Next slide, please. There you go. Here is the overall structure of the program. So the 3 stages, we call them 3 stages. The first stage is the first year, and you can see that at the top of your screen with colors. You know, there's a lot of colors there, the blue and the kind of the green color. So this is the first year. Yes, here you can see the pointer. This is the first year, and we call this foundations year. It's a course-based year. So you will have 6 courses. All your courses will be in the first year. This is like a high-level schedule. It doesn't really mean that you will have exactly 1 week break, 2 week break, 1 week break. Sometimes we change that a little bit, but just as like a concept schedule. Okay, so this is the first year, and you can see here the color, the greenish kind of the color. I'm not sure, is that green? You call it green? Okay. Maybe this is MGMTA workshop. That is the residency. We call it residency. So this is a 2-week residency. So you start your program with 2-week residency. You come to Victoria. You meet your colleagues. It's a very intense kind of residency, and then you continue with your program. Block 2, block 3, block 4 are course-based. So every block you will have 2 online courses. You work with your cohort, with the instructor on specific topics. On specific courses. So we have 6 courses. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the next slide. So this is the first year designed to ground you in theory and literature and research design. You will learn these basic skills that will enable you to move on to the next year, where you will do the Candidacy Exam, the proposal, and you submit your proposal, working with your supervisory committee. Next year, the beginning of the next year, there will be another residency, 1-week residency, and then you continue the year online. 3rd year, you're gonna continue working with your committee. 4th year, there is the online residency. So to summarize, 3 stages. The first stage, foundation stage, year 1. Year 2, it is a research preparation stage. Stage 3, it's year 3, and year 4, it's writing up your dissertation, executing the research and writing up the dissertation. There are 6 courses in the first year. There are 3 residencies. The first residency in the which normally is scheduled around February each year. This is the first residency. Second residency is 1 week, also scheduled at the same time, February. And the third residency, which is at the beginning of the 4th year, also around February. That means when you are on campus here in Victoria, you will meet all students, first year, second year, third year student. Now, we can move to the next slide. Yes, here you go. This is what you will see on our website. This is a more detailed schedule. What I explained is the conceptual schedule. Now you see that conceptual schedule in dates, in exact dates. So the first course, what we call MGMT, called if you can see here, if you could put the pointer, please, Imara, on the MGMT 700. There you go. MGMT 700. That's one course, and you could see the start date of the course and the end date of the course. And you could see the color here. Part of this course will be on campus while you are in the residency. You could see here the second row, MGMTA, which is on-campus residency, which is in February, 14th February until 25th of February. That is the detailed schedule. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so we talk about 6 courses. 6 courses you will have in the first year. Each course 3 credit course, so total it's 18 credit for coursework. 2 courses about the development of management thoughts and practices. So the first course we call it the development of management thoughts and practices. Actually, this is the title of the course. The second course, it's about research themes. So and these courses are designed to, it's kind of a refreshment. So you will go through different management thoughts, management theories in general. It's a very interesting courses. And then then there will be 3 courses after these initial 2 courses. These 3 courses are research-based courses. So how you design research inquiry, how you do qualitative research, how you do quantitative research. Extremely important research, extremely important courses, because these courses will prepare you to do the research. And then the final course, what we call it one-to-one course or self-directed study course. It's a 6-month course. It goes over 6 months. And in this course, you will work with one instructor, and it's an opportunity for you to dive deep into your area of expertise and prepare the literature. 3 residency, as we discussed, 2 week. This is the first residency. Second residency is 1 week, and third residency also is 1 week. Now, for those who did their master at Royal Road University, they are familiar with the concept of residency. And I'm sure they still have a lot of memories about residency, you know, how enjoyable, how wonderful, and how stressful it could be. It's an intensive period where you will work with colleagues over a very short period of time. You will be on campus to deliver certain deliverables. Now, the key difference between residencies at master level and residency at doctoral level is that residencies at doctoral levels are not course-based. That means during residency, you will not sit in a classroom all the time, morning to afternoon, where you will have an instructor coming to your classroom, give you the wisdom. That is not exactly the way the residency are designed at doctoral level. Residency are designed around workshops. So basically, you will have a number of workshops. Some of these workshops you will run. You will deliver your own presentation, and you will engage in conversations with your colleagues, with faculty members around your research, how to improve your research. There will be workshops designed and delivered by faculty members. There will be workshops designed and delivered by professionals who come and to give you a different perspective. So it's basically a workshop-based residency. To be more specific, only during the first residency you will have 1 course during residency, but residency 2 and 3 is purely workshop-based residencies. Can we go to the next slide? How are we doing on time? I think we are on time. Certain milestones. Dissertation Supervisory Committee. Dissertation Supervisory Committee, you will have a committee to work with you after you complete your coursework. Here, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. This is because we have some unique design about the committee. The committee consists normally of 3 members, the principal supervisor and 2 or 3 advisors. So total 3, 4 members. Principal supervisor, 2 or 3 advisors. Now, the principal supervisors can be Royal Road faculty, but it also can be someone from outside Royal Road. And that is one of the, I think, one of the most important features that you need to understand in the program. Unlike other programs, other doctoral programs, where you are restricted to choose between a number of faculty within the organization that you are in which you're doing your doctorate, at Royal Road University, that restriction is not there. At Royal Road, you have the choice to choose a faculty member from within Royal Road, or you have a choice to choose a faculty member to be your supervisor from outside Royal Road. Now, there are certain criteria that we need to make sure that external faculty member meet in order to be eligible to be your supervisor. But that is, I think, an important flexibility feature. So a key milestone, which is almost the beginning of the 2nd year, where you will work with us to define who will be in your committee member. The comprehensive examination, we call it Candidacy Exam. The examination, which is also around, I would say, the first 6 months of the 2nd year. After you finish your coursework, you will have a Candidacy Exam. And the Candidacy Exam is designed to, it's not like a normal exam where you have a paper and an invigilator and you're writing question. It's not like this. No, it calls exam, but it's not the traditional exam. It's where you submit a report to your committee, and committee will discuss your report with you. So it's basically an opportunity for you to discuss your research with your committee. The proposal, dissertation proposal, it's due after the Candidacy Exam, which is a formal dissertation proposal. Now, I want to differentiate between dissertation proposal that is due in the 2nd year of the program and the initial proposal that you will submit as part of your application package. So if you want to apply to the DBA program, we ask you to submit a proposal, 3 to 5 page proposal. And we tell you, could you please explain to us the idea, the research problem that you are interested in? And you tell us why is it important? And you tell us what could be the potential contribution of your idea. That is basically the 3-5 page initial proposal. And Imara will talk more about a workshop that is scheduled next week, I guess, which we will talk more about that particular proposal, the initial proposal, where we offer you some assistance or tools how to write that initial proposal. So that 5-page proposal, only we call it initial proposal. We will look at that 5-page at that 5-page proposal as part of your admission package, and we decide whether the problem area you are interested in is valid or not. Now, during the program, you will have the opportunity to develop that initial proposal, or maybe change it or tweak it. You will have the opportunity to present that initial proposal to colleagues, to faculty member. Oftentimes, students change their proposal, and that is totally fine. Of course, they do that with us, working with us. We tweak it, we change it, We make sure that we have more valid and more a proposal that's grounded in theory and literature and so on and so on and so on. So by the second year, you will submit your final and official proposal, and that's where I'm talking about now. That's what I'm talking about now. That's what we call dissertation proposal. That's a formal proposal, and that's due in the second year of the program. Put it simply, you don't need to worry, well, whether I'm gonna stuck to my initial proposal. Oh, no, it's not like this. You will have a year and a half to develop that initial proposal to submit your final proposal. And one final key milestone is a dissertation defense. Once you have your dissertation ready, and you will defend your dissertation. Of course, each of these milestones, there are procedures around this. Yes, we have it like a title here, but there's a lot of procedures and protocols around each of these titles. For example, dissertation proposal, you need to submit the proposal to your committee. Committee should approve it. There will be an internal, external who review the proposal, give you feedback, and so on, so on, and so on. Here we just highlight key milestones. These are the key milestones I would like to highlight during the doctoral journey. Let's move on. Here you go. Learning outcome, competency framework. So if you remember, I think in the second slide, I mentioned DBA program is a competency-based program. What do I mean by competency-based program? Basically, there are programs could be designed in the way that, by the end of the program, you need to learn that particular body of knowledge, or that area, or this topic. That's a valid approach. I'm not saying that's not valid approach. That's a valid approach. But DBA program is not designed like this way. So we are more on opening the floor for people to dive deep into their area of expertise. So if you are interested in marketing, that's still fine. We designed the program around competency framework, which is more, I would say, modern way for designing educational program. Competency-based program, that means we expect a student, or we require a student, to develop competency around the following domains. Communication, so you need to be able to communicate your topic. Problem solving, you need to be able to solve a problem using the knowledge that you learn in your area. Global thinking, critical thinking, working with others. These are what we call lower competency or lower order competency domain. The higher order competency domain, what you see inside the circle here, it's applied research practice, ability to develop a research, to build a research, applied research, the ability to reflect on professional practice, influence professional practice, and build rigorous, intensive knowledge base. These are competencies. Ability to how to design, apply research inquiry, how to design research inquiry in the way that impact practice, how to build a literature around your research inquiry. So these competencies you will learn through the program. Next slide, please. There you go. So who are our students? DBA students are working professionals. And I would like to highlight the word working professional. This is key. As a working professionals, you have a lot of experience, you have a lot of knowledge that you will bring into the program. And oftentimes, the problem that you are interested in researching, it's part of your professional life. So we have colleagues, actually a lot of our current students are working on problems, research problems, they are actually dealing with in their professional life. and they brought this research, this problem to academia, and we help them build research inquiries around these problems. So our students are working professionals who aspire to be leaders in their field or sector. You will do, or you did your master degree, whether it's an MBA or a master or a leadership, MA in leadership, or whatever master you have, normally to improve your career trajectory, or to be leader within your organization or institutions. Here we say, well, you're going to go beyond organization. You will be a leader within your field or sector. That means you should be able to build a brand for yourself as a subject matter expert within your field or industry. So our students aspire to be leader in their field, to be subject matter expert in a specific area, in their area of research. Also, they are keen to independently develop original impact for research. That's also important. So meaning that they provide evidence-based decision, evidence-based consultation that's based on research. Again, we normally expect students to be to have a full-time work. I mean, the program designed for students who are working full-time. I mean, we say full-time, it doesn't mean necessarily that at the point of applied you are a full-time. You need to prove that. No, of course. I mean, you are a working professional. Our students should and must have relevant master degree. So the word relevant here also gives us and gives you flexibility to acknowledge different experiences. So yes, master in business administration is a standard, but you could have a relevant master degree relevant to your research and it's still acceptable. For example, you have a master, let's say in healthcare, and your research is within healthcare. That's, for us, that's a relevant master degree. Our candidates coming from different walk of life, different industries, different sectors. We have colleagues who are working in the government. We have colleagues actually who are professors in other universities, and they need, I mean, doctorate for their promotion or for their work as faculty member. So actually 30%, perhaps a rough number of 30%, 35% of our students are faculty member. Actually, they are colleagues, academics. We have colleagues, of course, coming from private sector, and we have colleagues who are just, I mean, passionate about certain problem or certain issue, and they want to make a change in their communities through research. So it depends. My advice is, if you're not sure whether you fit into this, please communicate with us. Next slide. Now, student funding. Very clear that the fee is not small fee. We understand that. Though we are not the highest, we are not the lowest fee. We are kind of, compared to other doctoral programs in Canada, we are on kind of an average in terms of the fee. But when we talk about the fee, we need to also mention the funding opportunities that are available for doctoral students. And I see here Tracy posted the link to different funding opportunities available for you to explore. Now, for doctoral students, there are more opportunities, more funding opportunity compared to other programs compared to master students. Here I'm listing some funding sources. SHERC and MITEX. SHERC is a very well-known, very prestigious kind of fund, but highly competitive. MITEX, on the other hand, is still very prestigious, but less competitive and more applied. Actually, we have a percentage of our students who did apply to MITEX and they got funded. So in the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about MITEX. There you go. So MITEX Accelerate. Under MITEX, it's an organization. Under MITEX, there are different programs. One of the program called Accelerate program. So here, the MITEX Accelerate program, the program works based on internship. When we say internship, it doesn't mean that you go work in organization. It's a little bit different. It's one way, of course, but it's not always that you go and work in organization full time. No, MITEX, you could do research with this organization. So when you have a partner organization that could support your research, then the government will support you as well. So I mean, basically, the government will pay, or MITEX Accelerate will pay $7,500, and the organization will pay $7,500 for a total of $15,000. That's for 4 months. So doctoral student normally will do 6 internship, or what we call 6 rounds. Okay, it's a total of 90,000. Actually, we have a student just last month who was awarded 120, if I'm not mistaken. So it's 120,000. I probably will need to double check the number, but it's just last month awarded funds from MITEX Accelerate. It's the eligibility, it's quite flexible. So as far as you are a full-time student, you are eligible, and as a DBA student, you will be considered as a full-time student. So full-time scholarship will apply, I mean, to you. And that's also one of the strengths of the program, that you're doing the program on a blended mode, but you consider full-time student. It has very flexible admission condition for the MITEX Accelerate. There's no minimum GPA, all academic disciplines. Of course, must spend at least 50% of internship on site with a partner organization. That is, there is a different way to see this 50% of your time. Doing research with organization also considered equivalent to spending time on their campuses or on their premises. Next slide, please. Okay, so eligibility with partner organization eligibility. I think almost all organizations are eligible except public organization. But of course, when you have a partner organization, you will be connected to a representative who will help you define the eligibility or checking the eligibility of the organization that will support you. There is no deadline, it's a rolling admission. I mean, this is one of the very good examples that we would like to highlight, that our students really get funded through this program. We have, in the first cohort, we have 3 students out of 12 who are funded through MITEX Accelerate. And I know that there are another 2 applying in the next month or so. That means potentially almost we could end up with half of our students get funded from only one source. That's MITEX Accelerate. And with that, I think that will be very much my last slide. Is that, Imara? Okay, here you go. So, and over to Imara to talk about how to apply.
Wonderful. I'm going to welcome Andrea to speak about the how to apply. And I've been taking note of a lot of the questions coming up in the chat. So at the end of today's session, we'll go through some of the questions that haven't been answered yet. Welcome, Andrea.
Thanks, Imara. Thanks, Hassan. So now I'm going to talk about the application process. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to type them on the chat box. As Imara said, we will make sure that we cover all your questions at the end of this session. Next slide, please. So for the admissions, we are looking for a relevant master's degree from a recognized university, normally with a GPA or a minimum B in your GPA. That would be 3 over 4.33. And we are also looking normally a minimum of 7 years of relevant full-time work experience with 5 years at the management level and increasing levels of responsibility. And for our DBA program, there is a competitive admissions process. Next slide, please. Okay. Just going to wait for Imara. So the key dates there are, our next intake will be January 4, 2022, and the application deadline will be September the 4th, 2021. So we highly recommend to start your application process as soon as possible, just because it's going to take you a few weeks to complete all the documents. Next slide, Imara. So now how to apply. So first you need to submit the application online. And after that, you need to submit the following documents. The first one are official transcripts. To be official, they have to come in a sealed envelope. And now due to COVID, we are also accepting a document that is sent directly from the registrar's office of the institution where you complete that program. However, we understand that maybe those official transcripts are going to take you a little bit to gather them or have access to them. So at this time, or during the application process, we will accept scanned copies of your transcripts and certificates to complete the admission assessments. However, once you are admitted into the program, we will require the official transcripts. So the next document is a detailed resume. It's a very structured resume and it's not a business resume. So normally when we apply to jobs, we see resumes are from 1 to 2 pages. However, for this resume, it's very important that you tell us the story about who you are and your career path. So the first thing that we would like to know is about your education. We will ask you to include any higher institutions that you have attended for any of the specific degrees that you have taken, diplomas or certificates. And also if you were aware you got any awards during your higher education in the past. We also want to know about your professional experience. For that, it's very important that you include the following information: the organization that you work with, the position, the length of service in each of those jobs. So it's very important that you give us the month and the year. We also want to know a little bit about the description of responsibilities that you have in each of the roles. So it can be a small paragraph or bullet points. And as well, if there is any progression on your increased responsibilities, we want to see that progression in your resume. The next piece is we want to know about any voluntary or unpaid work experience. So once again, it's important for you to include the organization, the length of service, and a brief description of your responsibilities through that voluntary or unpaid work experience. The next piece is any professional membership or affiliation that you are part of or you are a member of. And of course, if there is any other relevant information that you would like to add into your resume, please do. The next document is the initial proposal. As Hassan already mentioned, it can be between 3 to 5 pages, and he provides a little bit of information about what that initial proposal will look like. However, we are going to be hosting a session in a week where we're going to kind of dive a little bit deeper in what that initial proposal looks like and where we are looking into that. So if you have the time, please feel free to join us into that session that is taking next week. And if you maybe are not available to join us, but you would like to learn more about what that initial proposal will look like, please register. The session is going to be recorded and we will be sharing that information with you. The next documents are the letters of reference. We are looking for 3 letters of reference. It will be important for us that maybe some of those letters of reference are related to your education and also especially to focus in the application academic qualifications and your ability to conduct research at the doctoral level. And then the final document will be a writing sample and an interview. Those two pieces are if they're applicable. And maybe Hassan, if you want to explain a little more what the writing sample and interview will look like.
Yes, of course. So writing sample interviews are optional, and we could request them upon reviewing the file, your file. In the last 2 years, I don't recall requesting writing sample beyond myself. I don't recall, maybe one case to be more specific. But oftentimes we don't, I mean, the document that you will send us will have some writing sample. The proposal itself is a writing sample. If we want to make sure that if we have certain assumption and we want to confirm our assumption, we ask for writing sample, but oftentimes we don't request. So this is optional. Please do not submit a writing sample unless we ask you to submit a writing sample. The proposal for us consider a writing sample, a first writing sample. So put efforts on writing the proposal. This is a key element in the application package, the proposal. Spend time, spend effort, and connect with us about the proposal. This is very important, and that's okay if you connect with us saying, well, I'm not sure what to write, what's there. That's totally fine. That's why we're gonna have another session for those who really going to apply to work through the proposal steps. Interviews also on request. So what I do have interviews with colleagues before admitting them to the program, making sure to give them an opportunity to ask any question before joining the program. Hopefully that will address any question. And I see here there's so many questions that we miss, and I'm looking forward to addressing all your questions toward the end.
Thank you, Hassan. And one more, if English is not your first language, we will ask you to either complete the IELTS exam, the TOEFL, or the PTE-A exam. So if English is not your first language, you will be asked to complete that component as well. Next slide, please. Financial aid. So I believe Hassan has covered a lot of information about funding. However, if you have any specific questions that you would like to talk with one of our financial aid specialists, they're happy to connect with you from Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 Pacific time. And also we have in our website very interesting information that it might be already answering some of those questions, and they also are available by email. So I highly encourage you, if you have any questions, please reach out to us, as Hassan said, either faculty, if you have questions about the program, our enrollment services, if you have any questions about how to apply, and of course, about financial aid, we have experts that would be happy to walk you through any process or any of those questions that you might have. Next slide, please. And as I said, the enrollment services team, we have here Tracy and Kelsey with us, and they are happy to connect with you by email. We also have shared the phone number from the enrollment services for the domestic team. So yeah, okay, Tracy and Kelsey will be happy to assist you, and they have been helping us today. So thank you so much, Kelsey and Tracy, for your assistance on the chat. Next slide, please. So I know Hassan and myself, we have mentioned a little bit this workshop. So the workshop is happening or taking place next week on April the 7th from 9 to 10 Pacific time. And that is going to be a session to discuss more about the research and that initial proposal. So we highly recommend you to attend that session. As part of the follow-up email that we'll be sending with the recording link from today's session, you will be able to find that registration link We highly recommend people to, if they were not in the lab session today, just to hear and have a better understanding about the DBA program, because as I said, the main focus is going to be the research component. Next slide. And I will pass over to you, Hassan and Imara, to go through the questions. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Hassan, and thank you so much, Andrea. That was a lot of information, so I'm glad to see lots of questions coming in so that we can clarify and help support. There are some questions that are coming in that are very specific to people's personal background. They're very, very specific questions. I do recommend connecting with an enrollment advisor, and they can walk you through to make sure that you have the correct experience. So for very specific questions, do reach out. You have Kelsey and Tracy's email. Awesome. So Hassan, we have the questions. I've stopped sharing the screen. Everyone is welcome to turn on their video if they would like, or you're welcome to keep it off. We'll be answering the questions in the chat. There will also be an opportunity for you to ask a question verbally as well. If you wish to ask a question that way, we ask that you use the raise hand feature that we all practice at the beginning of today's session, and I will call on you to unmute and ask your question. Awesome. Yeah. Hassan, I noticed you were taking notes. Is there any questions?
I was taking note actually, and it seems I missed some questions. So I will go through the one that I recorded. I probably missed some, and if I did, so forgive me and please ask a question. You don't need to worry. Nadine or Nadine, N-A-D-I-N-E, asked about proposal detail, and I think we addressed this proposal details. We were going to discuss that next week, so we have a session for that. She asked whether residency is 10 week. It's not 10 week. We have 3 residency, 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 week, first year, second year, and fourth year. Matthew asked about whether DBA is a general degree. Well, it depends how you define general, and there are questions about whether they are specialization within a DBA. There's no specialization. It's interdisciplinary degree where you will have a problem, a management related problem, a management related topic could be in marketing, could be in HR, operation, innovation, artificial intelligence. We have 4 students doing research in artificial intelligence. We have 2 students doing research in mining industry, 1 doing in aerospace industry. So we have a wide variety of topics as far as it's related to management. One colleague asked about DBA versus DSOC size. It's a long conversation. In short, both programs are interdisciplinary, focus on interdisciplinary research. Both programs are hybrid. DBA focuses on management-related research. DSOC size focus on more of a social aspect of a problem situation. Example, if you are studying, for example, nurse retention in rural area, if you're studying how to retain nurses and make them happy, satisfy, improve work, that's management related. If you are looking at the consequences of this on society in general, that's more of a social science. There is a common area, of course. If you are not clear, if you are confused, reach out. We are here to help you, and we will advise you, myself or Dr. Mary Bernard, the program head of the DSOC size program. We both work together closely, and we will help you to define what program that best helps fit with you. There is a question about credit transfer. It depends. This is very specific, but if you have a credit at doctoral level, we will certainly entertain the opportunity to see if it's possible. So it's a case by case. Joseph asked about recommendation for reading prior to apply to the program. I love that question. When someone asks me about reading, I love that question. Read whatever you like. I don't have a specific book or article that I'm going to recommend at this point. You will need to understand some of the literature around your problem area. So if you are proposing a problem area, let's say how COVID changed workplace behavior. Okay, so COVID-19, how changed workplace behavior. Basically, you need to know, you need to read a little bit about this topic, and you put this evidence that you read in your proposal. Hopefully that's clear. So these are the questions I quickly recorded. Imara, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, I have one more question that I wrote down as well, and I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but it was about DBA and the bodies that accredited, if AMBA, EQUIS, or AACSB, if it's accredited by those bodies.
So these accreditation are not program specific. These accreditation are school specific, faculty specific, university specific. So at Royal Road, it's a public institution like any other public institution in Canada. It's one of the 5 research intensive institutions. We do not seek accreditation for our programming. Actually, it's these accreditation are very relevant at a master level, and I see how they are relevant at master level, less relevant at doctoral level. But short answer, Royal Road University is a public institution, one of the 5 research institutions in Canada. These specific accreditations are not do not exist, at least in Royal Road.
Wonderful. I think that every other question, as you were answering them, I was checking them off. If we did miss any questions, I know we're coming to the end of today's session. It is almost 10 a.m. Pacific Central Time. If you have any questions, you have multiple ways to reach out to us and connect. And I really hope to see all of you at our workshop next week. I will be including the link to register in the follow-up email, which will also have a recording of today's session. And please don't hesitate to reach out. We're looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much, Hassan, for all of the insight and information today. And thank you, Andrea, Tracy, and Kelsey. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.